Hi YouTube, welcome back to another video all on hair. This video is about everything, the journey, Q&A, things that I've learned and more, and my top tips for anyone on growing their natural hair. Let's get right into it. So first up, the journey. So I grew up using relaxer. Everyone in my household did from a young age. I was never exposed to natural hair, my type of natural hair specifically. So I didn't really understand it until like a later age. I didn't know how to care for it. This as a result had a poor impact on my relationship and how I viewed my hair, African hair as a whole. But still relatively I had alright hair. Just my hair didn't grow as fast or nearly as thick. Cut to around 2017 or 2016ish when black empowerment movements were blowing up and natural hair really exploded. That's when it got to my house attention. My sister really, she's the one who introduced it. She was obsessed. Till she finally said, I'm going natural. Do you want to join me? Now, I was unsure about this, skeptical in the whole natural hair thing altogether. I never had heard positive things about it much, just that it was difficult and hard to manage and ugly, you know, it wasn't winning me over. But the things that I was seeing on social media right about then were actually changing that. So I just told her that I'd sleep on it, but I asked my mom if I could go back to relaxer anytime I wanted, and she said yes, it's my hair. I was in on the terms that she was gonna be my guide. Next is how we did it. There are two ways to go natural. The big chop, fully just chopping your hair off and having little to no hair at all, or the long transition way where you kind of let your hair grow a bit and you have a little bit of growth. That's when you'd cut it. On that, we did the second option, the long transition way. I highly recommend you just go for the big chop if you haven't heard about these things, of course. We started this from around 2017, around the last month. Dude, it's so fuzzy to me. Okay, but yeah, around 2017 exactly is when I stopped using relaxer, stopped straightening my hair, using heat, and just let my hair go wild. It was a painful transition. It was hard at the time to know anything really, but that's when I had natural hair again. Now for the Q&A. The most asked question is, what do I use? What do I use? So there's three things I want to say about this or addressing this. It's not the product that makes hair grow. Normal, healthy, average hair grows no matter what. It's ever growing, whether it grows slower, whether you wash it or not, like whether you don't take care of it and it becomes one clump, it still grows. The second thing is, works for me might just not work for you, as we are different people. What your hair needs might not be what my hair needs. And I've mentioned that I'm plant-based and it's a lifestyle. Yeah, literally, in all I do. It's led me to have a strong unconscious belief of reading every single product or thing that I use. For example, checking if it's vegan and just that it has little to no chemicals. No use of chemicals, especially that I'm not familiar with. And that's a good sign already. Yeah, I'm also a bit of a minimalist. Like, I just like to use things that have little ingredients, because that just means you know exactly what those things are and that they're good ingredients. When I am looking at the ingredients, I look at things like, does it have shea butter, you know, just natural oils? Does it have dandelion extracts or rose, just peppermint, maybe even in place of fragrances? Little things like that. Just, I really, that's what I go for. Also, not perfect. It takes trial and error. It took me years to get to things that I do actually like. What I do recommend when you're trying out products is look for the top three things. The top three things are, does it absorb? Does it moisturize your hair? And does it detangle your hair? And these things, they all work together. It's not really one or the other. Of course, maybe you can make something work when you're looking at things between products. You like this one for that, you like this one for that. But if you're using a lot of the product for it to actually seem like it's working, then that's a clear sign that it's not working for you. Pretty much use it for about a month. Some containers are smaller, like there's an original size and a smaller container. You can do something like that to save you time and money. With washing my hair, I don't use conditioner. I literally just use whatever shampoo we have at home, and if I'm really not liking it, I'll find another way, a loophole. The soap that I actually bath with, yeah, like literally a bar of soap. It's stuff like that. The second most asked question is, what do I do to it? Don't actually do much to my hair. For the most part, most of the year, I just have it braided. Yeah, so that it's contained and protected. But also, I don't use any gels and I don't straighten my hair using heat of any kind. Ever. I also don't comb it. So a lot of the time on that, I see a lot of people often get really pleased and excited when their hair is starting to get to more medium than short. Like right about here, or even just in general, people like to have their hair out, either in a fro or a puff. They seem to feel that hair is only good when it's in those two styles. You know, for whatever the reason, sometimes they just want to show off their hair all the time. Having your hair out all the time is bad for its health. It keeps it dry, and there's a lot of breakage in combing it to or yanking it to look a certain way all the time. Not to mention puffs, your front hair is being pulled always. Meaning the night before, you're constantly braiding it and then unbraiding it the next morning, constantly yanking it because probably your hair is still short. This is how you lose hair and don't see growth. Clearly speaking from experience. Instead, I suggest searching for easy, quick, protective hairstyles for short natural hair. Adding that to your search, is really useful, and the social medias then recommend more of that, and it's very specific, you know. Like, of course, leave out some words from that cue and just keep messing around with that. At some point you know exactly what you're looking for. I've mentioned that in my previous video, where is it? Over there. That when you want to make something part of your life, try something new in your life, it's best if you can to just add it to your lifestyle. So a good way to do this is to just make your social media natural. It's very easy to just go for it that way, and you don't run out of ideas that way. Ideas inspire new ideas of your own. It just makes life easy. You find a lot of tips online on how to care for your hair. I'll even link down some YouTube videos that really help me, and I think it gives you excitement on when you're trying something new because it shows you goals on what your hair can actually look like. It gives you representation if you're unsure, and using social media to find out your hair type, know what your hair type is, and then from there you can start adding it, like searching for hashtags. Or I think that was very, very helpful for me, having goals. Then I don't use heat because it's simply bad. It thins your hair out, it makes it see-through, it ruins your curl pattern. It's just not it. I mentioned, I think people often resort to that because they get excited. Like I mentioned before, they really, like, people just don't want to be patient, and they really want to show off their hair length, how much their hair has grown, and just to style their hair or to have it easier to maintain. The thing is though, it gets me to my neck. Barligna. I guess this gets me to my next point. Shrinkage. Shrinkage is not an enemy. In fact, in my definition, shrinkage is literally your hair at its most natural state. untouched. That is what the hair from your scalp looks like. And it also usually happens when your hair is wet or when your hair is moist, which is a sign that your hair is happy. You can't avoid it. It's part of this. And there's just nothing wrong with shrinkage. Pro tip that I wish someone told me a long time ago: don't fight it. Learn to accept it, then embrace it. The sooner you do so, the better. And it seems like the people I've been mentioning in the previous points feel like they have a point to prove as well. This is what I was understanding and getting from the media when they started doing that whole shrinkage thing, was that your hair is long actually, and you have to prove that it's long if you especially straighten it, but there's nothing to prove. Understanding that your hair literally has a mind of its own, like a sassy baby, is to be kept in mind. We have the world's most dramatic hair type. Make peace with that. Bringing me to my next point: being gentle. So I keep my hair contained, but I'm gentle when I do it. To the point where I don't even comb my hair. I don't even see the need to comb my hair. In my experience with hair, people aren't gentle. When I braid box braids most of the hair to keep it contained, it's usually my ma or my sis that does it. And when I have my real hair, it's just me. That's why I still have my hair. Yeah, so I do recommend learning to do your hair. Simple as that. And for me, I found that twists are my best friend. There's this good quote by Zuleka Patel in her book that I heard in one of her interviews, but it's something along the line of how as Africans we were taught to be strong, toughen out pain to the point where we're not even gentle with our own hair. Hard man phrase, you know, hair is difficult, get used to the pain, our hair is painful, just a phrase we're used to hearing, you know. So I think it's just good to think about that. Then I just want to talk about people's perception of African hair and African people's perception on hair in general. Most people still have a very backwards mentality of African or Afro hair, that it can't grow, that only lucky ones can have hair that grows, the chosen ones. That I even believed it as a kid too. You have to be mixed with anything other than black, anything other than Afro to have good hair, strong hair, beautiful hair that grows, thick hair, you know, soft hair, and that you have to be just north, just anywhere but from here to have good African hair. And that there's still a lot of disbelief sometimes when people see my hair, because it's simply utterly unbelievable that an African person can have this much hair. Like, there's people with bigger hair than mine. Look online, you know, sometimes even just look around you, go to the shop and you'll see some things. But these things are fed to you. They are fed to a society as a whole. Because I wasn't only hearing these things from African people. There's this story, quick story I'm gonna tell you guys that I'll never forget. But when I was a child, around 9, these two girls walked up to me. I saw them looking at me from far, and they say, "Ooh, can we touch your hair?" You know, I'm like, sure, okay. And they're like, "You have such long hair for an African." These are children. And they're like, but it's hard hair. It's rough hair. Or hard, pretty much. So like, do you see what I'm talking about here? And yeah, it was relaxed hair at the time, let me point that out. But African hair is hard, it's rough, it's hard to manage, it's ugly, it's crazy, it's wild. All these things, right? What am I missing? Well, it is wild and it is crazy, like the nature it is. We were never taught to care for our hair around these parts of the world up till recently. What feels like up till now, to be honest. We were taught to straighten it and make it something that it's not. I'm really not attacking anyone or trying to attack people when I'm saying these things. I'm just trying to make a point. And the thing is that this whole last part of this video, it's strongly affected by the fact that most beauty standards are Eurocentric. Like, for example, a big one is that girls are supposed to have long hair. The thought of cutting my hair as a kid terrified me, absolutely terrified me, because then I'd lose all my beauty, or I'd lose part of my beauty. Trimming my hair on its own was torture as a child, and I genuinely believed that I would almost never reach hair goals that I wished of having, the length I have reached. But when you let go of what your hair is supposed to look like, you let go of these chains, these beliefs, these unhelpful thoughts and fears. Even when you still have these fears, your hair proves you wrong. The last point or thing I want to say, wrapping up this video, is patience. Hair takes time to grow. Don't rush it. Don't fall into the traps of straightening your hair and gelling your hair. I don't recommend it. Don't fall into feeling like you have to prove that your hair has grown but you're stuck on shrinkage, you know. Like, don't feel like you have to prove anything. Let your hair prove itself to you. Patience, self-compassion, confidence, and true beauty is what my hair has taught me so far. The thing is, African hair does grow when you go back to your roots, when you go back to your nature. My hair has never been thicker, healthier, and more beautiful or even longer than it has ever been in my life. Really, I'm not perfect. Most of the time my hair is a mess because I postpone doing it. Lately my hair is usually a mess, but you know, it's still healthy, it's still strong, it's still growing. It's okay not to braid your hair for one night. It won't completely be demolished, but building the habit is definitely good. I think I'm still learning. I'm still also basically making this video to myself, affirming all these things I've learned and practicing them, reminding myself. Honestly, would never look back. That is all for this video. Feel free to leave a comment if there was anything you'd like to share, or if there's any video you'd like me to share regarding hair in the future. Any questions you'd like me to answer, add on to the conversation. And if you know someone that's going natural, feel free to share this video with them so that this could possibly help them too. And I'll see you guys here next time. So, bye! Let's go with it anyways. Perfect! I hope. I don't even know what I look like in this video. I just know that it's probably 5 now. Oh, thank God! This is just sad.